beginning of the 50 marble elimination tournament. We are starting with phase 1 of the track, Plinko Park. Now, as we are going to look at the track right now, so we're going to start off with this Plinko section right here. After that, we move into these spinning circles that will knock the marbles out of the way. After that, we'll have a bunch of more Plinko sections, which is more bouncy. And then we have these rotating rectangles near the end. And of course, we will finish off the course with a funnel. After that, track is done. So we're starting with phase 1, which is the time trial. So all 50 marbles will go down the track one at a time. Each marble will try to finish it as quickly as possible, and the 40 marbles with the fastest times will be safe and advance to the next phase. But the 10 that take the longest to finish the course will go to the elimination round. So we're going to start with our first one, Blinding Light. As to show off the course in general, going through the Plinko section, doing pretty well so far. A little bit of a struggle there, though, in the bouncy Plinko section. Overall, goes to the funnel. Currently P1. We'll have to see if that manages to be in the top 40 at the end of this. It doesn't matter if you're first, you're 40th, as long as you're not on that bottom 10. Now we go to Blister Beetle's run right now. And let's see how Blister Beetle does. Pretty solidly, I think. Mostly avoiding that section. So having to go down there. And yeah, 13.695. That is currently P1, currently ahead of Blinding Light. Now we have Buzzkill going up next. Marbles will go in alphabetical order, so those ones near the end, they're gonna know what what kind of goal they have to go for. Buzzkill on the other hand, not really sure. It actually ends up going near the middle, going through that rectangle section, which isn't the fastest way to go through that. And yeah, as you can see, that's currently last place for Buzzkill. Now we have Caramel Apple up next. Let's see how Caramel Apple will handle the course. Going to the right before going near the middle. A lot of marbles doing that right now. Getting forced back up there to there, though. Currently not the fastest time and actually getting stuck right there. That is going to be terrible for Caramel Apple. Yeah, that is a DNF. And that is unsurprisingly last and very likely going to end up in the elimination round. So Carolina Reaper wants to try to avoid the same fate, but also wants to just, be relatively fast, Again, getting hit back up there. Those spinning circles, they can mess you up, so you got to be careful of them. Currently not that great for Carolina Reaper. Yeah, in the 17 seconds, nearly 18 seconds, P4 easily. That was not a very fast time. That could be very bad. Carpenter Ant is up next. So how will they handle things? Again, going through the Plinko section a similar way, but actually avoids the spinning circles and what damage they can do. Actually, a really fast time this is. And yeah, 12.362, that is P1. That is practically safe, I'd say. Even though it's not technically safe now, because we haven't had 10 marbles go yet. Cattail is up next. Let's see if they'll handle the course very similarly. Yes, they do, but how will they handle the spinning circles? Again, mostly avoiding them, but spending quite a bit of time in the bouncing Plinko section. And, ooh, right there, losing a lot of time in the spinning rectangles. And that's P4, which isn't terrible, but it's not particularly great either. As we move on to Charcoal, which is the 8th run of the event, there are going to be a lot of marbles, so you can afford like a slip-up or two, like there, Charcoal, spending a bit much longer in the Plinko section than perhaps needed and taking quite a long time there. Overall, not the worst time. 15.295, that is P6, so not terrible, but, not good at all. Cogwheel is up next at run 9. Overall, solid to start. Spending a bit of time in the bouncing Plinkos, potentially they've tried going to the left in that section, but now it's taking some time going to the right there. That is currently P5. Not too bad, not too bad. That's middle of the pack, which isn't bad. Coin Collector's up next as run 10, as 20% of the runs will be done after this. And let's see how they'll do. Spending quite a bit of time in the bouncing Plinko, a lot of time in the bouncing Plinko. This could be a disastrous run. And yeah, spending a lot of time. This is going to be a pretty poor time. And yeah, not going in the funnels directly. That is an 18.895. That is P9. I think that is provisionally second to last out of everyone. And yeah, that is correct. Here are the current results so far. Carpenter Ant in first, followed by Blizzard Beetle, Blinding Light, Cattail, Cogwheel, Buzzkill, Charcoal, Carolina Reaper, Coin Collector, and of course, with that DNF, Caramel Apple is currently last. Next up is Fantastica to show us. After this, we will get marbles that will officially be safe. So let's see if Fantastica can potentially be the first one to punch their ticket into Phase 2. It doesn't look like it. They are spending quite a bit of time there. P3, not particularly terrible. That's actually pretty good, all things considered. So it's very likely that we'll see Fantastica in the safe zone. So pretty good run there. Grizzly Bear up next. They will be taking, again, a similar path, potentially taking a bit longer in the Plinko section than some other marbles. And yeah, taking quite a bit longer in the bouncy Plinko there. But actually going near the left, avoiding some of the spinning rectangle, which is a good strat. And overall, that's P5. So that, again, pretty solid run, I'd say. I'd say as long as you're not at, like, the very back of the pack, I'd say you have a pretty good shot of surviving this. Highlighter up next. Again, hitting by the spinning circles, actually spending a lot of time with them, but smartly decides to avoid the bouncing rectangles and actually won't spend a whole lot of time in the funnels. Oh, never mind, a big slowdown there. And that is P10 for Highlighter. That is not good at all. Yeah, Horsepower up next with Run 14. Let's see if they have the horsepower, I guess, to go through this. So far, not too terrible. Spending a bit of time in the bouncing circles, bouncing Plinko, but not too terrible. A bit of more time in the spinning rectangle than preferred. Overall, not great with a 14.962, but P9 is not particularly terrible. Hydrokin up next with Run 15. Let's see how they'll do. Actually taking a bit of a different route, going near the right, it looks like. And yeah, spending a lot of time in the bouncing section, but going right down there, past the spinning rectangles, and that's P7, which isn't too bad. I think that's top half right now. Yeah, now we go to Iceberg Lettuce with Run 16. Now at this moment, a lot more marbles will be safe. So you want to just try to get there as quickly as possible. Not a whole lot of pressure right now, but you also don't want to be the first one to be eliminated. Iceberg Lettuce actually with a very good time there. That's 13.495. That is P2, and see, the text right there is green, which means Iceberg Lettuce is guaranteed to be safe. So that is wonderful for them. They're happy for that. Inchworm up next at Run 17. Spending, I think, a bit of time there. Yeah, not great for Inchworm so far. Yeah, that's not great, but they are avoiding the spinning rectangles for the most part, which is the biggest time saver from the looks of this course. And that is still 15.595. Not a great time, but P13. Not the worst, though. Infestation is up next, though. Let's see how they will handle this. Going to the left, to the right again. Overall, not too terrible yet, but they are getting caught up in the spinning circles, and they still are caught up in the spinning circles. This is not going to be a good time whatsoever. Yeah, they are avoiding no, they're not really avoiding the spinning rectangle, spending a little bit more time there. And we're past the 20-second mark. This is going to be an atrocious time. P17. That is a sigh of relief for everyone else except for, Caramel Apple, who did not finish. But Inspector is up next. Let's see if they can beat a horrible time set by Infestation. So far, actually doing really good, handling these sections pretty well. Going through the spinning rectangles, probably not the best strategy, but overall, it looks like this time's going to be solid enough that they can afford it. 15.362, P13. Not particularly amazing, but, not the worst either. Leaf Blade up next at Run 20. After this, 40% of the runs will be done. And the top 10 after this will be guaranteed to be safe. Let's see if Leaf Blade could be one of those. Avoiding the spinning rectangles again. And spending some time away from there. That's P12. Not quite safe yet, but I think some more poor runs from the other competitors and they'll make it. As we see, the 10 now in danger are Horsepower, Leaf Blade, Charcoal, Inspector, Inchworm, Highlighter, Carolina Reaper, Coin Collector, Infestation, and Caramel Apple. Still in last because of that DNF. Lily of the Valley will go up next in the 21st run. Again, going to the left, it seems to be what most of the marbles prefer. Handling the bouncing Plinko pretty well. Not the fastest through the spinning rectangles, but that looks like it'll still be a good enough time for 7th, which is guaranteed safety. Again, that guaranteed safety is what you want to aim for. You want to aim for one of those higher times. And there is not really that much advantage of finishing in 1st compared to any of the other places, as we go to see Lunar Legends run. But you'd still definitely want to, at the very least, just aim for a high spot. Bouncing from circle to circle straight into the hole, that looked very cool, but it's currently only P17. Not terrible, but again, not particularly impressive. Lychee up next, or Lychee, however you want to pronounce it. However, I won't lie, this is not the greatest run so far, spending a bit too much time in the bouncing Plinko. Bouncing around all over the place, still actually managing to skip the spinning rectangles. Only means still P18, which isn't great, but it could have been a lot worse. Mega Lassie now, or Lassie in 24th, the 24th run, as we slowly enter the halfway point. Mega Lassie spending a lot of time bouncing there, and ending up going through the spinning rectangles anyway. This isn't the greatest run, and yeah, that's P19, so not particularly good with a 16.229. We'll see how that handles up with the other runs. Manta Ray ending off the first half with a run 25. Was spending a lot of time with that in that Plinko section. In the bouncing Plinko, not too terrible actually, getting out of there pretty quickly, and ending up right near the middle. And that is P13 somehow. So yeah, pretty good run for Manta Ray. So they'll definitely appreciate that. Minecart up next with run 26. Again, it looks like they're actually staying near the middle. It looks like similar to Manta Ray. Spending a bit more time in these sections. Actually, this looks like a very similar run to Manta Ray. I think a bit of time in that last spinning rectangle. But as P14, that is good enough to advance to phase 2. As we go to Monarch right now. As run 27 going straight for the left. Very much to the left. Let's see how that'll go. Getting bounced all over the place by the spinning circles. Getting bombarded right now. Not really bombarded, but they did not have the best time right now. And ooh, it looks like they're slowing down quite a bit there. And that is P25. That is not safe yet, which is not good at this moment of time. Mudskipper up next. Let's see if they can beat Monarch's run at the very least. Again, going near the left. Similar to Monarch, not quite as extreme though. And avoiding those middle sections. Overall, this looks to be pretty solid to start, but missing that funnel right there could hurt them. Oh, and they mess it again. That is going to be a terrible time. 19.363. That is P25 again. And I think that's slightly better than Monarchs, but, you know, still very bad. Neo Theater up next. They definitely want to be better than those last 2 runs, because those last 2 runs were rough. It's pretty decent through the bouncing Plinko and the spinning rectangles, all things considered. Actually a pretty quick time. That is P3. Neo Theater not just content with, you know, just making it through. They want to stamp their authority on this season. They want to, you know, show that they are a marble to look out for. As we go on to Newt Brute now, let's see how they'll do. Actually, again, missing the spinning rectangles perfectly. That is barely above 10 seconds, and that is first Newt Brute. Truly stamping their authority, and that is P1 for now. But the Tenant in danger right now. Lunar Legend, Lychee, Mango Lassie, Highlighter, Carolina Reaper, Coin Collector, Mudskipper, Monarch, Infestation, and Caramel Apple. As we move on to run 31, Paper Plane. Let's see how they'll do. Pretty good so far. Actually, getting a bit blocked by the timer there. But still, overall, a pretty solid run. Yeah, a really good run. P6, 13.762. Now, at this point, you don't have to be, like, exceptional to, you know, get that safe spot. As long as you're just good enough, you'll probably be able to make it through. Pegasus up next. Let's see how they will do, if they can manage to make that mark. And oh, they get pushed upwards. Actually getting, yeah, the spinning circles. When you get, like, you know, when the spinning circles and the bouncy section both tag team on you. That's not really the greatest sign. And sub 19-second run, but still only P28. Not the greatest for Pegasus. Peregrine Falcon up next. You know, fastest bird. You know, at top speeds it is like the fastest animal. But let's see if that can show on the course. Not the fastest right now, even though this is downhill, which is where Peregrine Falcons usually are their fastest. But overall, not a terrible time. Actually managing to avoid the spinning rectangles. P25, though. Not the greatest, but I think it should be fine. We'll have to see, though. Puff Pastry at run of 34 now. Currently doing not great right now. Although they are avoiding the spinning rectangles for the most part. And not spending too much time in the funnels. Actually, that is P6. That's a pretty good time for Puff Pastry right there. That's pretty impressive. Pyroball right now with run 35. Will this be a good run? So far, doing pretty solid. Actually, spending a bit more time in the bouncing Plinko than preferred. But overall, this looks to be pretty solid, provided they don't mess up, and they don't. They get P9 with a 14-second time. So overall, good run. Quicksand up next with run 36. You know, they have quick in their name, but Quicksand isn't particularly known for being, like, the object, not particularly known for being fast. Still, this doesn't look like a terrible start so far. Mostly avoiding the rectangles. Oh, but right there, a big slowdown in the funnel. Still good enough for P21, as you can see, right there. Even with some mess-ups, still enough to be safe. At 21st place, Red Herring is up next. They stay near the middle in this run, it looks like. Maybe approaching the right a little bit. And it looks like, they're getting dribbled. They got dribbled by the spinning circles again. And overall, this is not the greatest run so far. Yeah, that is 18.829. That is P31. Not particularly good at all. But who knows? That might be enough to escape. Ribeye up next. Staying near the middle again. Again, approaching the right, which is, again, the similar strategy to Red Herring. Probably not the smartest strategy, considering they're not doing too well right now. But overall, Ribeye manages to get a solid P8. That is enough for safety. So overall, that works out pretty well. Rocket Punch up next. Let's see how Rocket Punch will do. This is one people have been excited for, I'd say. But let's see. They are not doing too horribly. They are spending a bit more time in the bouncing Plinkos than what would be preferred. And they get stuck too. Okay, Rocket Punch is also stuck. DNF in P39. I think that it is actually just dead last place in general. Silk Scarf up now with run 40. And after this, 80% of the runs will be done. And after this run is when we'll start cutting. We'll start having to force. We're gonna have to see marbles in the danger zone. But Silk Scarf overall pretty good so far, I'd say. As P8, they are safe. They will not worry about being eliminated this time around. As I look at the stage so far, all these guys right now safe until we get past that 30th place. We have Highlander, Carolina Reaper, Red Herring, Coin Collector, Pegasus, Mudskipper, Monarch, Infestation, Caramel Apple, and Rocket Punch as your bottom 10 right now. And after this, some marbles are going to be guaranteed to go to the elimination round. The Smoke Bomb up now. If they get last here, like basically if they DNF really up early in the course, they will be forced into the elimination round. But so far they are avoiding that pretty well. And actually a really fast time. That is P3 for Smoke Bomb. Really good time. And that means that I believe Rocket Punch is guaranteed to go through that elimination round. Snowbank up now. Again, trying to avoid that same fate. Getting kind of obscured by the cloud there. But overall, not too horrible. And yeah, this looks not the greatest time. Actually, not a terrible time, though. That is enough for 15th, which again, safe. Which means both marbles at DNF will be going to the elimination round, guaranteed. So now it's no longer about just finishing the course. Now you have to make sure you have a decent time. Speed Striker up now is probably a marble you can trust with speed, all things considered. They are getting dribbled by they are struggling in the bouncing Plinko a bit. And yeah, not too fast there. And actually they get stuck, and even earlier than the other guys, which is P43. And with that red text, you can confirm that they are going to the elimination round guaranteed. Sunnyside up is next. Again, trying. So far, it's only marbles that have not finished that are currently in the danger zone. Will Sunnyside Up add to that casualty list? Bouncing a lot all over the place. And that's currently 33rd. Not the greatest time, but it is just enough to be safe. And that is all you really need at this point. You just want to be safe. Toadstool up next as we're approaching near the end. After this, we are 90% done. After only 5 more after Toadstool right now. Going near the left right now. Getting a little bit dribbled by the circles, all things considered. But they do manage to avoid the spinning rectangles. And overall, this time doesn't look too bad. That is, again, 33rd place, which is enough. It is enough. Toxicorp up now with the final 5 runs to go. Let's see if Toxicorp can manage to do pretty well. So far, no major hurdles right now. And yeah, actually this looks like a very good time, and that is P3 for Toxicorp. That is really impressive for them. Turtle Shell up now as run 47. Only 4 more left to go. And you cannot afford any, you really don't want to afford too many slip-ups there. And Turtle Shell bouncing all over the place in the bouncy Plinko. This does not look like it's going to be an incredible time. But they do manage to get close to the middle of the funnel, so they can salvage 35th place, which is enough to be safe. Venom Bank is up next. Rival to Toxicorp. They saw that run that Toxicorp did, and they want to best that. So far, they're actually doing really good. I don't know if it'll be enough to beat Toxicorp, especially with how the funnel is going here. And yeah, that is P18. Quite a bit of a distance, but it is enough to be safe. Now we have the penultimate run with Wonderworld, who kind of blends in with the background here. I'm not sure if that's going to be an advantage or a disadvantage, perhaps. So far, it's actually working out pretty well. They do seem to have a pretty decent time right now. Oh, but they mess up there right at the end with the final. That is good enough for 39th, though. That is barely safe, just barely enough to survive. That leaves us with Zip Zap as the final run to go. Let's see if they will be the final casualty or if they will be the final one safe. So far, this time looks pretty decent. No major slip-ups there, and that is a good time. That is P10, 13.795 for Zip Zap. That is enough for safety. So as we look at all of the marbles that are safe, we will have to eventually see that bottom 10. 30th place, still these marbles in the 30th zone. Very lucky right now. But we have Carolina Reaper, Red Herring, Coin Collector, Pegasus, Mudskip, Monarch, Infestation, Caramel Apple, Rocket Punch, and Speed Striker in the elimination round. All 10 of these marbles are going to fight for their survival in the 50 marble elimination tournaments. So as we move on to, I believe, the rules soon. There we go. The elimination round. All 10 marbles will race to the finish as quickly as possible. In each round, the first place marble will be safe and advance to the next phase, and the last place marble will be eliminated from the whole tournament. The other marbles will compete in the next round, where this process will continue for every elimination. So basically, first one is safe, last is eliminated, everyone else will continue racing. So this round is really important. This is your last chance to keep your spot in the 50 marble elimination tournament. Currently, Caramel Apple's in the lead right now, although now it is Monarch that is taking the lead. But this funnel can change things up, and right there, Mudskipper pushes Monarch out of the way. Mudskipper is safe, but who will be the last one to finish? It looks like it's going to be potentially Rocket. No, it's going to be Pegasus, it looks like. And that means Pegasus is the first marble, I believe, eliminated from the 50 marble elimination tournament. Yep, Pegasus is eliminated, and Mudskipper is safe, so they won't have to compete anymore. They are moving on to the next phase. But Pegasus, first elimination, that's gotta hurt. Round 2 now. We have the 8 remaining marbles. Again, first is safe, last is eliminated. Caramel Apple again with an early lead, but it looks like it's Rocket Punch that's rocketing out to the early lead, but falls a bit there, actually getting stuck there. Who will be the first to finish? It will be Caramel Apple. Some more finishers. It looks like Monarch or Infestation will be the last to finish, but it looks like everyone is pushing Rocket Punch out of the way, and that means Rocket Punch is eliminated. Oh, that is unfortunate. They were leading going into the funnel, but that funnel, that can mess you up horrifically. And yeah, Caramel Apple managed to benefit from that by Rocket Punch. Oof, that is unfortunate, but they are out of the tournaments in 49th place. And after there's only 6 marbles left for Carolina Reaper, Red Herring, Coin Collector, Monarch, Infestation, Speed Striker. All of these, a few safe spots left. They are panicking potentially a little bit. Will that hurt them? Monarch currently in the lead with Red Herring close behind. Red Herring actually takes the lead there and actually finishes first. Speed Striker nowhere to be found, very high up the course, and everyone else will finish right there. Speed Striker not having the speed, and that will that completely hurt them in this tournament. As we move on, safe from elimination is Red Herring, but Speed Striker just wasn't able to get into the chaos in time and will be eliminated in 48. Now I have round 4 with Carolina Reaper, Coin Collector, Monarch, and Infestation. 4 marbles left and only 2 safe spots. It's Carolina Reaper currently in front, but now it is Infestation in front. Well, Infestation trying to take the win, but it looks like Carolina Reaper getting there faster and will take the win ahead of them. But it's between Monarch and Coin Collector for the final spot now. And Coin Collector just edges out Monarch right at the end. A bigger push right at the end. That is massive for Coin Collector potentially. Right there. Coin Collector just with a much more momentum just manages to slightly shove Monarch out of the way, and Monarch is eliminated. Carolina Reaper will be safe. Coin Collector, Infestation, our final 2 marbles. Only 1 safe spot, and the other one will be eliminated. Coin Collector in the lead right now, but Infestation takes a lead through these spinning rectangles. Will Coin Collector be able to catch up? It's going to be a little difficult, but not impossible. But now Infestation has finished, which means it is over for Coin Collector. After just barely beating Monarch out last round, they will still go no further. Infestation, very lucky there. Just barely being safe, but they did just enough to make sure they go to phase 2, which means our eliminated marbles are Coin Collector, Monarch, Speed Striker, and Rocket Punch, and Pegasus in 46, 47, 48, 49, and 50th, respectively. All of them will be eliminated and go through this Plinko section straight into the box of losers, where all of them must pay for not being good enough, I suppose you could say. And yeah, it's unfortunately their 15 marble elimination tournament career is over for now, which means we will see you next time for Plinko Park Phase 2. Until then, this is Rip Biscuit signing off.